I, 22 female, love my grandmother, 70, with all my heart, but she is very difficult to live with. She moved in around 6 years ago due to hurricane that damaged her roof. She was only supposed to stay in a couple of months because we were trying to fix her roof, but also she had to get some kind of surgery for her arm. We were understanding and we just didn't want her to stay alone in her now damaged house while healing from surgery, so we had no problem with her being here. At first. Within the first few days of surgery was acting sickly. Constantly need help with this or that, but whenever family came over and all the attention was on her, talking to her about things she likes. She's no longer sick or fragile, she's running up and down the stairs, showing off everything she bought. She forgot she was a frail old lady. She only came here with a basket of clothes and a suitcase. We thought she came with the suitcase because she travels a lot because she's singer and tours from time to time. Looking back at that now, she was probably plotting to move in with us. When she first moved in, my brother wasn't here, so she got to stay in his bedroom. It didn't take much time for the room to get kind of stuffy because she loves shopping and buying things, especially things she doesn't need at all. That huge room, and for her to take up so much room within a month, was just crazy. Another weird thing is that she'll buy a whole set outfit and only wear it once to her performance, so try to imagine how much clothes were stuffed in my brother's closet. Now try to imagine her buying more clothes, so now she has to put in my closet. Now try to imagine within the span of her career as a performer all the clothes and shoes she bought, all in her house, in single room of her house, that for some reason she never wants to touch or wear again, but she refused to get rid of even though she completely abandoned her house. Now imagine her buying a storage garage just to fill up with more useless things that she's never going to look at again. Couple of months later, my brother wants to move in. She's pissed and asked my mother why is her own grandson moving back into his childhood home, and then asked her, my mom, where is she supposed to stay? My mom basically told her she can go back home since her arm healed, and she came back from her tour, so she should have enough money to fix the roof. She said a couple of $100 from her tour and can't afford to move back. Complete lies. So she asked if she could move into my mother's personal room. My mom has 2 rooms. Her bedroom, that she shares with my dad, and her hobby room. She barely slept in her bedroom, so that hobby room was her personal room. She did everything in that room. She ran a personal blog for her clothing that she crafted herself, she did makeup tutorials, she made beautiful wigs, etc. She was basically a content creator while also being a hairstylist. She needed that room for work and content. My grandmother knew all these things and insisted on moving in that room, so my mom, reluctantly, let her move in there. My mother is now miserable and is frustrated because of this. She's basically put her life on pause because Granny won't move out of that room and it looks horrendous in there, and I swear there is a rotting odor in that room now. I can't explain everything that happened in the past 6 years, but I'll try some of the things my grandmother does that makes everyone hate living with her as best as I can. My mom's room was pretty spacey. So when my grandmother moved there, she did what she does best, she hoards. We can't even fit in that room anymore. There's only a small space to walk in and out of. There's some weird rotting smell in that room, but I think it's either from piles of clothes or the fact that my grandmother showers only once a month. I counted, so I'm not exaggerating. We can all tell when she's showering because of weird noise she make in there. She blows up that king restroom. Imagine a quiet, peaceful night and you're about to fall asleep when suddenly you hear Rack City by Tyga inches away from your bedroom, in the restroom. Mind you, your bedroom is in front of the restroom, so you have to hear a 70-year-old woman hit it and shit in there. That's what I'm dealing with. Or how about whenever someone is done cooking? Normally in this household we have to let each know when we're done cooking, or else we just have no clue. But you have someone who listens to every single sound or movement, know when you're done cooking before you ever tell anybody. Then, proceeds to eat most of the dinner. Now we barely cook because someone keeps hoarding all the food. Not only that, but when they do cook, they cook for themselves only. Ever had a roommate that listens to your every move? Listen to every conversation you've had in the privacy of your own room. That's my grandmother. She tries so hard to avoid my mom because my mom keeps to discuss with her about when and how she'll be moving out. My parents' bedroom is right next to the room my grandmother's in now. She listens to possibly everything they say and do in there. Everything. She knows when my mother is moving around. She knows when we are with our mother and talking to her about whatever. I'll never forget how we complained about how grandma eats all the food and cooks for no one but herself. How we were tired and felt so uncomfortable around grandma. The next day she cooks again, But surprise, she actually made us something. It's 4 fish patties and like 2 French fries, laughing face. It's a pattern too. I know she hears us complaining because the next day she'll order pizza or something. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a peephole in my parents' bedroom. Also, let me add, we don't care about her cooking for us, we always appreciate it. It's just we noticed that she's really selfish about it. God forbid we go out to eat too. If we come back home with food for ourselves, she complain and say we're treating her like shit. Don't ever mention fixing up her house. Don't mention moving her back into her house because I promise you will wish you didn't. There's a range of things she'll do. The first few times we tried to talk to her about the house, she would just complain about how she doesn't have the money. When she tours, she's not making much money and how she's basically being paid pennies to perform. Except that's not true because when we do go to see her perform and she is done with her gig, she gets paid. Usually about $2,000 or more per performance, so imagine when she goes in a month-long tour. She'll brag about it on Facebook about how much she's getting paid and where she's going. So we know it's really not about the money. Then, during my freshman year in college, shit got more drastic. Now, every time my mom mentions the house, suddenly my grandma is all ill and can't walk and needs to be pampered/taken care of. She had a pinched nerve in her back but acted like she got shot or something. Every time I would leave my room, she moaned super loud. So when I tried to use the restroom, she would moan loud like she needed help. Then I stay in the restroom and then she goes quiet. Then I walk back to my room, she starts moaning loud again. Then I stay in my room for a second and she's quiet. Dead silent. She was faking it. I started to ignore her because I knew she didn't help. Then she gets up, walks to my mom's room to talk to her. My mom plays dead because she don't want to deal with her either. Granny sees my mom is asleep. Then magically my grandmother straightens up her back and dashes to restroom as if nothing was wrong with her. She still does this every time we try to talk her about the house or about moving out. Suddenly her back hurts and she can't move, then she'll call the ER and comes back home the same day because nothing is actually wrong with her. I know you're probably wondering, why not move into an apartment? She's Miss Rich Bitch, so why not tell her to move into an apartment? We tried. It didn't work. Actually, she was the one that kept insisting to move into an apartment, since she knew we wanted her out the house. She said that in an argument with my mom, and my mom actually took her to go shopping around for apartments the next day. Granny just had to double it, I guess, because as soon they found the nearest apartments, Grandma said she needs to go to the ER, she think her blood pressure rising. So full of shit. So now you're wondering, why not get her to move in with someone else? We tried that too. We regret that so much. Grandma, finally, contacted my uncle because suddenly she gives a shit about her only great-grandchild. She spends the whole day there, then comes back home with some bullshit. She told our uncle that she was getting mistreated and that my mom going to kick her out and leave out in the streets. My uncle for some reason believes despite knowing how narcissistic she is and starts a whole argument with my mom. My mom explains to my uncle what is actually happening, and he's dumbfounded to find out his mother is doing what she does best. Then he offers to my grandmother a room in his house if she ever leaves ours. My grandmother later refused because there isn't a nearby airport, and nowhere she can shop at. We are all somehow still dumbfounded at her consistent self-centered, narcissistic and self-serving personality. That wasn't even the only time she went around accusing us of mistreating her. When the ER came to our house during one of her fake episodes, she told one of the people taking her to the hospital that she was so sick and she hasn't eaten in days, she said. We were all about to shit ourselves. My ass was starting to hurt from how tight I clenching it. We just couldn't believe she would say that. We were cooking for her, heating up soups for her, buying electrolyte water for her. We were taking full care of her, and that's what she decided to do. Throw us under the bus for no reason. Luckily nothing happened after that, but she still does from time to time complain to someone that we're trying to throw her out to the streets. She loves playing a victim. Unsurprisingly, she also wasn't a good mother to both her children and pets. The best way I can describe her relationship with my mom is pretty much that movie, Mommy Dearest, because she treated her daughter like shit when my mother was a child. My grandmother always made sure she had the best clothes, shoes and hairdos, while her children struggled constantly. She abused my mother the most. She would find any reason to hurt her. As my mother got older and my grandma got none the wiser, my grandmother was expecting everyone to treat her like a celebrity. She's still like this. She thinks she paid her dues. and believes now that she is fully entitled to live here with us despite everyone wanting her out. She fully expects everyone to take care of her, even if she mistreats them. For pets, I don't even understand. She'll get a pet, takes care of it for a while, pets grows old, Granny now hates pet and wants it to die. Why even own one if you're going to be like that? Her last dog also lived with us until her pet dog, passed away. She despised that dog. She literally wanted that dog to die. The first time her dog was sick, she did absolutely nothing to help it. We had to take care of her dog because she wouldn't. Turns out it had a treatable infection and it was taken care of. She just went back to resenting her dog. We get a new dog and Grandma just grew to resent her dog even more. We pretty much cared for her pet dog until she unfortunately passed. Grandma didn't really care and was basically being theatrical with her. Grief. Just the worst. When her pet was alive and we had our own pet dog, she would try and take care of our dog while completely alienating her own. She's just awful. She insults everyone and is extremely bigoted. She loves degrading others over their appearance while not looking too good herself. She loves making fun of overweight people, despite gaining over 50 pounds within a few years. She also forgot her grandchildren are also pretty overweight ourselves. She'll smile and call me pretty and my brother handsome, but she'll insult her other 2 grandchildren who don't have to deal with her. Send help.